Every 60 seconds, 2 children die in our nation through abortion. Every 60 seconds. So think about how long this teaching is going to be and how many babies have died. These abortions take place. There's surgical abortions. There's the abortion pill. There's saline injections. I don't want to get too graphic because I know there's children in here, but we're talking about dismemberment of a baby in a surgical abortion. Okay? We're talking about poisoning children. We're talking about burning them through saline injections. So, the 4 things I'm going to cover today is first, what does the Bible have to say about abortion? Well, I want to start with the image of God. The reason each one of us in this room have value is because we are God's image bearers. Genesis 1:27 says, "So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him, male and female." Every one of us has value. Because we're image bearers of God, we deserve dignity and respect. What is murder? Well, Exodus 20:13, God speaks on murder. He says, "You shall not murder." What is murder? The definition of murder is the premeditated killing of another human being with malice aforethought. So that's the definition. So when does life begin? Well, according to Psalm 119:13, it says, "For you have formed my inward parts. You knit me together in my mother's womb." God knit us together in our mother's womb. Science has confirmed what Scripture has already told us, that at conception, life is begun. A unique DNA fingerprint, one that never existed before, has been created, and life has begun. This DNA is going to tell all the parts of the body, how the baby's going to grow, the eye color, the hair color, it's all there, and it's completely separate from the mother. The value of life in the womb. Your pastor was talking about so much importance from the Old Testament. There's so much good there that we can get. Exodus 21:22 through 25. This tells us about the value of the child in the womb. It says, "When men strive together and hit a pregnant woman so that her child come out, but there be no harm, the one who hit her shall surely be fined, as the woman's husband shall impose on him, and he shall pay as the judges determine. But if there be harm, then you shall pay life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, stripe for stripe." So what is this telling us? That the value of the life in the womb, the child in the womb, is equal to value to us. That if we strike a pregnant woman, she has a miscarriage, that child dies, the penalty is death. That's the value of God sees life in the womb. The call to rescue. Now this is our call, Christians. This is our command by God. Proverbs 24:11 and 12 says, "Rescue those who are unjustly sentenced to die. Save them as they are staggering to their death. If you say, 'Behold, we did not know this,' does not he who weighs the heart perceive it? Does not he who keeps watch over your soul know it? And will he not repay man according to his work?" These children are being unjustly sentenced to die every day. Their parents are carrying them there, and they cannot escape. They cannot run away. But guess what? These parents, they're also staggering to their death, right? They don't know God. They've suppressed his truth. They're living in their sin. And they too are staggering to a spiritual death. They are in fact dead in that moment. And what does it say right after this? If it says, the Bible's talking to us, Christians, it's talking to the people of God. It says, "If you say, 'Behold, we did not know this,' does not he who weighs the heart perceive it? Does not he who keeps watch over your soul know it? And will he not repay man according to his work?" This is what God's telling us here. He's saying, rescue those who are unjustly sentenced to die. And if you don't, I know your heart. God knows your heart. He knows that you know. He knows that you understand that you have a command to rescue innocent children. And don't say that you didn't know, right? He's going to say, I'm going to repay you according to your work. This is what God is telling us. So we all have a call to do something. We all have a call to rescue those who are unjustly sentenced to die. Also, Mark 12:29 through 31, the two greatest commandments. Jesus said, the most important is this, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength. The second is, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other greater commandment than these. The preborn are our neighbor. The baby in the womb is our neighbor. So this is a love our neighbor issue. God says we're to love our neighbor as we love ourselves, right? Are we going to let our neighbor just be taken off and killed? We're just going to allow that? What are we going to do about it? We need to rescue them. And what if we do nothing? I'll leave this to you guys to check out. But Isaiah 1:10 through 20, God is speaking to his people, Israel. And there is blood being shed in the land. And they are a party to this, and they are not stopping it. And to summarize what's said here, you can look at it later. But God tells them, I'm hiding my face from you. Who has asked you of this trampling of my courts? There's blood being spilled on their land, and they're more worried about going to God and offering sacrifices at the tabernacle. He says, remove this iniquity from amongst yourselves, and then come. And what happens at the end of Isaiah 20, he says, if you don't do this, you're going to be swallowed up by the sword. That's what happens to a land that's disobedient to God, that allows the shedding of innocent blood to continue. The land spews them out. They're devoured by the sword. Look at where our nation's headed right now. You think we're not under the judgment of God right now? Ask yourselves that question. Look at what's going on. We're calling evil good and good evil. If what we're doing out there isn't loving, then I don't know what is.
60 million murdered in our country, that's a scary count. Wombs become a death camp, trash can a burial. American Holocaust, more than all the soldiers lost in every single war. It's an era marked in gore.